You ever wake up one day and realize everything you believed wasn't real? That the people you trusted were actors, the promises were scripts, and the whole thing, your pain, your patience, your loyalty, was part of someone else's game. There comes a point when even life looks at you and says, enough. Enough pretending you don't see it. Enough letting them use your kindness as currency. Enough letting the world convince you that your worth depends on how much you can endure. You've been duped, not just by others, but by the lies you told yourself to survive. Pain exposes the truth you tried to ignore. It's funny, isn't it? How you can live your whole life pretending everything's fine, smiling through the cracks, convincing yourself that it doesn't hurt. You build this perfect little story in your head about love, about loyalty, about people who'll never leave you, and you cling to it like it's real. But pain doesn't care about your story. It tears it apart. It rips off the mask, piece by piece, until all that's left is the truth you've been running from. You see, pain has a strange way of showing up right when you think you've figured it all out. Just when you start to feel safe. It comes knocking, reminding you that comfort breeds blindness. You don't see the lies when you're happy. You don't question the people who tell you what you want to hear. You don't notice the manipulation, the betrayal, the games, not until it starts to hurt. Pain is the alarm clock that wakes you up from the dream. And once you wake up, nothing looks the same again. People like to avoid pain. They call it bad, unfair, cruel. But pain is honest. It's the only thing in this world that doesn't lie to you. It doesn't pretend. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't tell you you're fine when you're not. It hits you exactly where the truth hides. That's why it hurts so much. Because it's cutting through the lies you built to protect yourself. Pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. It shows you where you've been blind, where you've been settling, where you've been pretending that something broken could still hold your peace together. You can ignore warnings. You can silence your intuition. You can fake smiles and say, it's okay. But pain doesn't let you get away with that forever. It'll keep showing up in different forms. People who take advantage of you. Situations that break your trust. Patterns that repeat until you finally listen. Because life doesn't whisper forever. When you refuse to see the truth, it screams, and that scream is pain. Pain exposes the truth about others too. It shows you who really cares and who just enjoys your presence when it's convenient. It strips away the fake loyalty, the rehearsed affection, the temporary support. When you're broken, you see who stays, not who claps when you're shining. Pain makes people reveal their true faces. Some will walk away the moment you can't give them what they want. Others will stay, but not to help, to watch. Pain doesn't just open your eyes to life. It exposes everyone in it. The worst part. You probably saw it coming. Deep down, you knew something wasn't right. You felt it. In the silence, in the tension, in the little moments you brushed off. But you ignored it because the truth was too heavy to carry. So you lied to yourself. You said, they didn't mean it. You said, it'll get better. You said, maybe it's my fault. And that's how pain becomes the only teacher left, because you refuse to listen to the softer ones. Pain doesn't show up to punish you. It shows up to free you, to break the illusions that kept you chained, to make you stop believing that love means suffering or that loyalty means losing yourself. It forces you to stop begging for peace in places that only gave you chaos. And the moment you start seeing pain that way, it stops being your enemy. It becomes your mirror. It shows you exactly what's wrong, what needs to change, what needs to end. The truth is, you were never blind. You were comfortable. And comfort is the most dangerous kind of blindness there is. You wanted to believe the best in people, even when they showed you the worst. You wanted to believe in fairy tales, even when life was showing you the script was fake. Pain doesn't destroy those fairy tales. It burns them down, so you can finally see reality. You call it heartbreak, betrayal, loss, but really it's exposure. It's the light finally breaking through the cracks. You start realizing that the truth was always there, waiting behind every red flag you ignored, every gut feeling you silenced. And the moment pain hits, it's like your soul finally opens its eyes. You see how much of your suffering was self-inflicted, not because you were weak, but because you were hopeful. You wanted to believe people could be better, that love could fix what honesty wouldn't touch. Pain teaches you that hope without truth is delusion. And once pain exposes the truth, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to pretending. You can't unlearn what you now know. It changes you, not softly, not gently, but completely. It strips you down until you have no illusions left to hide behind. And in that emptiness, in that raw exposure, that's where real strength begins to grow. Because pain didn't come to take something from you. It came to show you what was never yours to begin with. Blind loyalty is how you lose yourself. You think it's love. You think it's loyalty. You think it's strength. But it's not. It's surrender, disguised as devotion. You tell yourself you're doing the right thing, standing by people who don't deserve it, forgiving what should never be repeated, believing promises that keep breaking the same way. You call it loyalty because it sounds noble, it sounds pure, but really it's fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of seeing the truth that loyalty doesn't fix betrayal. It just feeds it. Blind loyalty is poison wrapped in purpose. You drink it thinking you're being good, honorable, strong. You tell yourself you're proving your heart, your patience, your worth. But what you're really proving is how much of yourself you're willing to lose to keep someone else comfortable. You make excuses for them. They're just going through something. They didn't mean it. They'll change. You wear your pain like a badge of pride, thinking that enduring it makes you loyal. It doesn't. It just makes you forget who you are. There's a fine line between loyalty and self-destruction, and most people don't notice when they've crossed it. You start by defending someone's flaws, And before you know it, you're defending their disrespect. You start by protecting them from others and end up protecting them from accountability. You start by standing beside them and end up standing in the shadow of who you used to be. Blind loyalty isn't love, it's silence. It's shrinking yourself so someone else can stay comfortable in their lies. You convince yourself that loyalty means staying no matter what. That walking away makes you disloyal, weak, heartless. But that's what people who benefit from your loyalty want you to think. They'll call you selfish the moment you stop serving their needs. They'll call you fake when you stop forgiving their disrespect, because your loyalty was never mutual. It was a leash, and you mistook it for love. Blind loyalty isn't a virtue, it's a trap. The cruel part is that loyalty feels good at first. It makes you feel needed. It makes you feel important. You think you're holding something together, being the glue that keeps everything from falling apart. But one day you wake up and realize you've been holding everything except yourself. The people you fought for, they didn't fight back. The ones you saved, they didn't even say thank you. You gave everything, and all it did was teach them how easy it was to take from you. Loyalty without boundaries turns into self-betrayal. You start lying to yourself to protect someone else's truth. You start justifying what you'd never tolerate from anyone else. You start believing that love means pain, that patience means silence, that forgiveness means staying. But real loyalty doesn't demand that you lose yourself. It demands that you stay honest, even when honesty hurts. It means being loyal to your principles before your people. Because loyalty to someone who keeps breaking you isn't strength, it's denial. You can be loyal and still walk away. You can care deeply and still say, "This isn't right." Loyalty doesn't mean staying chained to something that kills your peace. It means standing for truth, even when it means standing alone. People will twist loyalty into manipulation. They'll make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They'll say, "I thought you'd always be there." Not because they love you, but because they counted on your blindness. They need your silence more than your support. Because the moment you open your eyes, the whole illusion falls apart. Blind loyalty teaches you the hardest truth of all. Not everyone you'd take a bullet for would do the same for you. You bleed for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. You stay up fixing what they broke, believing your loyalty will make them see your worth. But loyalty doesn't change people. It only reveals who deserves it. And most don't. You keep showing them your heart, and they keep showing you their hands. Empty, cold, taking. There comes a point where loyalty becomes self-betrayal, where the only person you're betraying is yourself. You stay to prove a point that no one's even watching. You give chances to people who only use them as invitations to hurt you again. You think you're being strong, but strength isn't in holding on. It's in knowing when to stop. Blind loyalty is a slow death. It drains your soul one apology at a time, until you forget what peace feels like. And the irony is, the moment you finally walk away, The moment you stop bleeding for people who never noticed your pain, that's when you see clearly. You realize it was never about loyalty. It was about control. They didn't love your loyalty. They loved your obedience. They loved how predictable your forgiveness was. They loved that no matter what they did, you'd stay. But once you see it, really see it, you can't unsee it. And that's when your loyalty finally returns to where it always belonged. Yourself. Blind loyalty is how you lose yourself, but it's also how you learn. Because once you've given everything to people who took it for granted, you stop giving your loyalty so freely. You stop defending the wrong ones. You stop mistaking manipulation for love. You stop apologizing for choosing yourself. And that's when loyalty becomes powerful again. When it's no longer blind, but earned. Not everyone who smiles is on your side. You'd think by now people would know that, but they don't. They still believe smiles mean sincerity, that kind words mean care, that attention means affection. But smiles lie. Words deceive. And attention, that's the easiest thing to fake. People wear masks so well that even the devil would applaud. They pretend to care while calculating what they can take. They mirror your emotions, mimic your pain, study your weaknesses, not to understand you, but to use you. The world's full of performers. They don't show up to support you. They show up to study you. They'll clap when you win, not because they're happy for you, but because they want to stay close enough to know how you did it. They'll call you friend, but they're just collecting information. They smile to hide envy, compliment to disguise comparison, and offer help only when it benefits them. You think they're beside you, but really, they're behind you, waiting for the perfect moment to push. The worst kind of betrayal doesn't come from enemies. Enemies are honest. They don't smile in your face before stabbing you in the back. They come for you directly. It's the ones you trust that ruin you. The ones you protect, the ones you'd never suspect. They learn your heart so they can use it against you. They learn your dreams so they can compete with them. They learn your wounds so they know exactly where to strike. And when they finally show their true colors, it's not because they changed. It's because they finally stopped pretending. Not everyone who smiles is happy for you. Some smile because they want what you have. Some smile because they think they deserve it more. They'll stand close enough to soak in your light, but never close enough to share their own. They'll disguise jealousy as jokes, bitterness as advice. They'll cheer for you just loud enough to convince you they care, but quiet enough to keep you doubting. These people aren't friends. They're shadows. And the only reason you didn't see them before is because you were shining too bright. You start to notice it slowly. The way their tone changes when you talk about something good. The way their eyes flicker when you succeed. The way their silence grows louder when you win. You tell yourself you're imagining it, that maybe you're being paranoid. But deep down you know, their smile doesn't reach their eyes anymore. They're not clapping for you. They're competing with you. They want your peace, your energy, your confidence. But they don't want to earn it. They just want to take it. People will pretend to love you until loving you stops benefiting them. That's when their loyalty expires. They'll be kind when you're useful, generous when you're weak, supportive when you're beneath them. But the moment you grow, the moment you stop needing them, they turn cold. Because your independence exposes their dependence. You were never their friend. You were their mirror. And when the reflection stops flattering them, they break it. You learn the hard way that not every smile is safe. Some are distractions. Some are warnings. Some are just the mask people wear to keep you from seeing what's really underneath. The thing about fake people is that they always reveal themselves eventually. You just have to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Every time your gut screams, something's off. That instinct, it's never wrong. You just ignore it because you don't want to believe someone you care about could be that cruel. But they can, and they are. It's not bitterness to be cautious. It's wisdom. You can love people and still keep your distance. You can be kind without being blind. You can forgive without letting them back in. The trick is learning to recognize energy, not just words. Words are cheap. Energy isn't. You'll feel when someone's smile is real and when it's just camouflage. You'll feel when someone's presence calms you or drains you. The problem is, you keep talking yourself out of what you already know. You keep giving people more credit than they've earned. You can't save everyone from their own envy. You can't teach sincerity to someone who thrives on deceit. You can't force someone to be happy for you when they hate that it's not them in your place. The only thing you can do is see it and stop pretending you don't. Because every time you ignore a fake smile, you give it permission to stay. Every time you defend someone's mask, you betray your own intuition. One day you'll look back and realize that every person who left, every fake friend who exposed themselves was a blessing. Because if they hadn't smiled their way into your life, you'd still believe everyone who smiles means well. You needed to learn that not everyone clapping is cheering, and not everyone quiet is hating. Some people are silent because they're protecting their peace, while others are smiling because they're plotting your fall. Not everyone who smiles is on your side, and that's okay. You don't need everyone. You just need truth. The truth of who's real, who's not, who shows up when it's inconvenient, who celebrates you when there's nothing in it for them. Those are the ones who don't smile for show. They smile from the soul. And you'll know the difference, not because of what they say, but because of how they make you feel when the noise fades. Because the real ones don't need to smile to prove they're on your side. Their actions already did. Strength begins when denial ends. Funny how people love to pretend they're fine, like pain disappears just because they don't mention it. They plaster smiles over scars and call it healing. They convince themselves they're strong because they can hide it. But that's not strength. That's fear wearing confidence as a mask. Real strength doesn't live in pretending. It's born in the moment you stop lying to yourself, the moment you stop saying, "I'm okay," when you're breaking inside, the moment you finally admit, "Yes, I'm hurt. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I'm tired." That's when the fight begins, not when it ends. People are addicted to denial. They'll drown in chaos and call it peace. They'll stay in toxic situations and call it love. They'll chase approval from people who never cared and call it purpose. Denial makes life bearable, at least for a while. It gives you something to hold on to when everything else feels uncertain. But it's a slow poison. Comforting at first, deadly later. You keep telling yourself you're not broken, that you can handle it, that you'll be fine. You build your whole world around that lie until the weight of it crushes you. Denial is seductive. It whispers that facing the truth will destroy you. It tells you that admitting the pain will make you weak. So you run from it. You distract yourself. You scroll, you drink. You talk about everything except what's really eating you alive. You act like if you don't name it, it can't hurt you. But denial doesn't protect you. It traps you. It keeps you living in the same loops, making the same mistakes, loving the same people who keep tearing you apart. It's like painting over rot. It looks okay for a while, but eventually, the cracks start to show. Strength begins when you stop running, when you look in the mirror and stop making excuses for what broke you. When you finally face the truth you've been dodging, that you're not fine, that they didn't love you, that it did hurt, and that pretending didn't make it go away. That's the moment the old version of you starts to die. The one who smiled through disrespect. The one who ignored the signs. The one who mistook endurance for strength. Facing the truth burns, but it cleanses. It strips away the illusion, the fantasy, the comfort of denial. And in that raw, brutal honesty, that's where strength begins. You can't heal from what you refuse to feel. You can't move forward while dragging lies behind you. You say you're waiting for peace, but peace doesn't come to people who keep running from the truth. It comes to the ones who face the storm and stand in it. Because the storm doesn't destroy you. It shows you what's real. When the wind strips away everything fake, you finally see who you are without the masks, without the lies, without the need to pretend. And that version of you, the one who's been hiding behind, "I'm fine," that's the one who's been waiting to breathe. Denial keeps you stuck because it convinces you that reality is too painful to face. But the truth is, the pain doesn't kill you. The pretending does. Every lie you tell yourself takes a piece of you with it. You convince yourself that if you admit the truth, you'll fall apart. But maybe falling apart is what you needed all along. Because sometimes breaking is the only way to rebuild right. You can't build strength on a foundation of denial. It cracks the moment life gets heavy. Strength only grows on truth, no matter how ugly, how uncomfortable, how raw it is. People think strength means not crying, not showing emotion, not caring. They think it's walking away without flinching, smiling while you bleed. But that's not strength. That's numbness. Real strength is feeling every bit of it and choosing to stand anyway. It's admitting that you're hurt, but still showing up. It's saying, I don't know what comes next, and still taking a step forward. Denial hides from the truth. Strength holds its gaze. Denial silences the pain. Strength listens to it. Because pain, when faced, transforms. When ignored, it multiplies. You can't find yourself in denial. You only find fragments. The pieces you let people see. You can't grow there. You can't evolve. You just repeat the same lessons in different forms. The same people, the same endings, the same pain, over and over, until you finally stop lying to yourself. That's when the shift happens. The day you stop saying, it's fine, and start saying, I deserve better. The day you stop waiting for someone to fix what you keep hiding. The day you stop settling for comfort and start demanding truth. Strength begins when denial ends, because only then do you see what's real. Who's with you, who's against you, and who you've been pretending to be. You stop trying to fit into spaces that shrink you. You stop defending people who never defended you. You stop settling for almost. You start choosing clarity over comfort, truth over fantasy. Because once you face the truth, once you've looked your pain in the eye and didn't run, no lie, no person, no disappointment can control you again. God removes what blinds you before He blesses you. You think loss is punishment, that when things fall apart, it's because you did something wrong. But maybe, just maybe, it's the opposite. Maybe it's protection in disguise. Maybe the very thing you're crying over was the thing standing between you and what's meant for you. People beg for blessings, but forget that blessings don't live in blindness. You can't see what's coming if you're still clutching what's gone. So sometimes, before life gives you something real, it takes away the illusion first. You pray for peace, but hold on to chaos. You ask for clarity, but cling to confusion. You say you want truth, but keep feeding the lies because they're familiar. And when the lies finally crumble, you call it heartbreak. You think God's being cruel. You think He's silent, distant, uncaring. But He's just cleaning your view. You can't build a future with hands still reaching for what poisoned your past. So He takes it. Not because He's punishing you, but because you wouldn't let it go yourself. It hurts when He does it, doesn't it? When people walk away, when plans fall apart, when something you swore you couldn't live without suddenly disappears. It feels unfair. Like life ripped something out of your chest without warning. But what if that was the only way to free you? You wouldn't have left if it didn't hurt. You wouldn't have changed if it didn't break. Sometimes the blessing isn't what you gain, it's what you lose. Because loss clears the fog. It forces you to see who and what was really keeping you blind. You ever notice how the things you beg for often turn into burdens later? That job, that person, that dream. It all felt right at the time. You told yourself it was meant for you. You ignored the red flags, the gut feeling, the quiet signs telling you to slow down. Because you wanted it so badly. You convinced yourself it was good, but desire makes poor judgment look holy. You prayed for it, fought for it, and when you finally got it, it started destroying you in small, quiet ways. And still, you held on, because you'd rather suffer with it than face the emptiness without it. So God stepped in. And when He took it away, you called it betrayal, when it was really mercy. Blindness isn't just about not seeing the truth. It's about not wanting to. It's easier to believe the fantasy, easier to think